What's happening, folks out there? And you are watching or listening to another episode of the Game and Watch podcast. This is episode number 60. Only 40 more episodes till we get to episode 100. Yes, the Game and Watch podcast is a OVG or RV Gaming Productions. We are on Patreon, so please support us on there. And all our streaming platforms, Twitch, YouTube TV, Facebook Live, and Twitter. Yep, so definitely do that. And then we are also listenable on very many different platforms. And we are back on Apple Podcast finally. So for all you Apple listeners, we are back. Yeah, I see you there, Finance. Yeah, definitely, man. It took us a minute, but yes, we're back on all our listening platforms. So Game and Watch Podcast, definitely Google us, whatever search engine you use, whatever you listen to us on. We shall be available on there. So with me today, I got Mr. Logan.
Hello.
Logan. We also got Black Cat Celine in the house.
Heyo.
Hello. The man with the unforgettable James Bond pose, Matt.
Oh God, I can't believe that's going to be a thing. I just wanted to point out the irony before we move on to our last one that I love declaring that you're back on a platform for an audio podcast, because guaranteed the people who care that you're back on that platform will only know you're back because they're back on the platform downloading the episode that's telling you that you're back.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
And of course, Mr. RView Gaming OVG himself, the executive producer, Finest Dabs, who's drinking something out of his orange cup.
Just call me out. Yeah, just like now the audio podcast knows that I'm completely hydrated for this episode. Hey, what's up, everyone? Glad to be here.
And I'm your boy, Justin, a.k.a. Too Tall for You Fool. So today on the show, we're definitely going to talk about more Nintendo Switch rumors that just keep piling on. And we are also going to be talking about what a great gift idea would be for the holidays, whether you want a game or someone you know might want a game or a platform. We're going to discuss that later on in this episode. But before we get started, just how you guys doing? Logan, it's been a minute. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm just chilling, just preparing for the episode, getting ready for the episode, and after that, play some games and do whatever my wife wants me to do. Celine, how you been?
Well, busy packing for one thing, but I'm trucking along.
That's good. F-Man, how you doing, my man? My main man.
Yo, man, I'm doing well, very well. Just excited to have everyone on the podcast this week. Last week was kind of a bare bones episode, so it's good to see everyone's faces.
It was a bare bones, but it was a great episode. I mean, me and you nailed it, definitely. We nailed it out of the park. And then Matt, how you been, man?
Oh, good. Just absorbing all these positive vibes flying around this virtual room. It's very, very good for early in the morning for me.
And that's good. That's good. So, what's a video game movie y'all would like to see? Well, not video game movie. What's a video game you would like to see become a movie, or just like something you see, like a video game you played, and it's just like it'd be pretty good as a movie.
I think God of War would be incredible. As long as they take it in the right direction.
Yeah, agreed. It's really hard because I think the UA Ball movies make it really, really clear exactly why a lot of video game adaptations of movies just do not work. because like a lot of the tropes where you can get away with in games, like, oh, the protagonist never seems to change their outfits. It just does not work in a movie when it's like spanning over days and weeks. It's just like, wow, the protagonist must really stink, literally.
I totally get it. And after seeing the Assassin's Creed movie, like I probably don't want to see another video game movie for a long time. But for me,
well, we saw.
I was just gonna say Final Fantasy, just because I don't know which one. I would probably say 10 offhand, because I feel like that would be like the most relatable, like for your average viewer. But yeah, that's where I would go.
Well, I saw the Sonic the Hedgehog movie last year before the whole shutdown, and that was actually pretty good. It was pretty good, and they're making a second one. I'm going to watch the second one. I'll let you guys know how it is right here on this podcast as soon as I see it. But I guess
Knuckles as Idris Elba. Sorry, other way around. Idris Elba playing Knuckles. You just have to go for that, I think.
Wow.
No. But for me, it would have to be. I think GTA 5 would actually make a really good movie if they were to bring it to life. But I mean, that's just me. But they are. I guess Sony is putting out a movie. It's not God of War yet, but they're doing Uncharted. So I don't know if you guys saw the trailer, but I saw it, and it may have me fooled if I didn't play video games. But since I do play video games, this movie is just. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think of it. Just it's it's just something else. But I mean, the movie's not out yet, and I'm not one to judge. But is this going to be a blockbuster hit, or does this have disaster written all over it?
It's really interesting because, of course, the Uncharted games are basically a set of movie tropes strung together into like these combination of QTE and action scenes. So because of that nature, I can see why people would think that it would make a good movie, but it's that balance that I think the other thing is it going to get that kind of balance that X-Men started, in the sense of that, appealing to the movie buffs without alienating the fans of the original series? That is probably going to be the quite big question, if you ask me.
And I think they're kind of trying to address it there. The small clip that we had on screen for the audio listeners showed one of those particular typical scenes that you'll see from an Uncharted game, of a ridiculous scenario where Nathan has to rely on his grip strength alone to survive a challenge and climb some ridiculous falling set of train carriages or something like that.
That was third game. That was right out of Uncharted 3. I reckon it was like the first scene in that game, and I was like, that's Uncharted 3 right there.
Yeah, his grip strength is the most important thing that I think they recognize as a game trope, but one that translates well to cinema as well. I think they're going to be trying to balance those things with this particular film, but I don't know if they've cast it right. I think it's the casting that's going to be the
I don't think they should have casted Tom Holland. I mean, Tom Holland's great, but like, not for this role.
I completely agree. That was the same thing that was going to come out of my mouth. Was just that like, it's just hard. It's a hard sell for me. It's hard to believe that Tom Holland would be Nathan Drake, especially like a younger Nathan Drake. I don't know. I just don't see it, especially when he's like so synonymous with like the Spider-Man role. It's just like Sony's like doubling up. I don't know if they're trying to save money or what, but yeah, I just don't see it.
It would have just been some deals somewhere in the background, and he's got that notoriety from Spider-Man specifically.
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely the casting. I mean, we'll see how the characters play into it. Like, like I know we talked several weeks back about, with the Mario cast, and, again, it's just, even whether it be voice acting or live acting, it's going to come down to, the actors, and if they can make these characters believable, believable enough for Hollywood, but at the same time, not disappointing fans of the series. You don't want to, disappoint your fan base. So I mean, it will be interesting to see how that movie pans out. So anyway, any more on the Uncharted movie that's coming out? Yes, no.
I would only ask if any of you have seen the fan-made short film that starred Nathan Fillion. That was an Uncharted one. Did any of you see that?
I feel like I did. I can't really remember it offhand, but yeah, no, I believe I did.
Okay.
But yeah.
In that case, for anyone listening, seek that out and see what a proper Uncharted looks like. Because I think Nathan Fillion was pegged by the fans for a very long time. Because as the captain of the ship in Firefly, his character was perfect for Nathan Drake. Kind of like the playful, comedic, and yet quite serious at the same time, and very strong leader as well. All of those character traits fall very strongly in Nathan Drake's camp. So I think it goes for about 11 or 12 minutes, and Nathan just chews up the scenery in that. So give that a look at when you have a chance, and maybe compare it to the trailer and see.
And
Alright.
I have to say, Nathan Fillion doesn't
for
look
sure.
too different from Nolan North. So, that he's got the look as well as the character.
He's got that beef that just Tom Holland doesn't have.
That's one way to put it. Yeah, definitely got that beef.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So we keep talking about game delays, like this game going into 2022, that game going into 2022. So let's add another game to that list, and this is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Now, that is coming out in 2022, and it was supposed to come out in early December. This was actually a game on my short list I was thinking about picking up because I was emulating Advance Wars a while back, and that's a pretty fun game. I don't know if you guys have played Wargroove, but a lot of the stuff that Wargroove uses, they got from Advance Wars. So it's just another delay just going into 2022. I'm not too happy about it, but I mean, whatever they got to do to make the game better, they got to make the game better, unfortunately. So, I mean, how do y'all feel about this? Just another game going into 2022 finally, again. So just, are you guys getting tired of these delays?
I mean,
I
I think... Go on.
I'd rather have delays than like have an unfinished game. Like I would rather have had like Cyberpunk come out later than have like what was given on release. So I don't mind the delays as long as it's for a good reason.
Agreed. Well, I think that in comparison, Cyberpunk, I suppose, was more anticipated because of the developer behind it, but Advance Wars has a really dedicated fan base, and Apollo's been in that fan base as long as I've known him. So I know that if that game came out half baked, he would probably start a riot because he is, he used to run a fan site for this, for the series. So I can't remember which one, but he used to run a fan forum for it, and he's been big on strategy games of this sort for, and we've known each other for 16 coming on 17 years now. So yeah, shows you how far.
Yeah. I don't know. There's been 42 games that have been delayed this year in general. From my research. So, I mean, it's just like a sign of the times. I mean, you really can't be mad at the developers for, whatever the reasons may be for delaying the game, whether that be COVID, whether they just need more time to, keep that game in the oven, or so forth. It's a different time. People are making games at home, and for this particular one where it's Advance Wars, where it's like, it's the Game Boy, a Game Boy Advance games? Was it Game Boy?
It's Game Boy Advances.
Yeah, for additional remakes. I know people love Advance Wars, but I don't think anyone was like especially clamoring for this particular one. Like, I need Advance Wars to happen tomorrow, otherwise I'll be pissed. I think they'll be fine waiting till December, and then as far as like all the other games, February is looking ridiculous of next
Oh,
year.
February.
I mean, so the delays are happening. It led for like a okay, like 2021, but 2022 is looking insane, and I'm excited for it. Like regardless of the delays.
Well. Wait. Let's flash forward to next year. What if we get to like January and all those big titles that are supposed to drop in February just get delayed out of nowhere?
I mean,
I don't want to jinx it, but
if you ask me, you know, I kind of take release dates with a pinch of salt until they're done these days. Most of you guys will probably remember the comment I made about Gran Turismo. I quoted from Apollo. He's like, "I'll believe it's out when I have it in my hands," kind of thing.
oh yeah.
I think because so many of the games that I am a fan of have ended up being delayed, I'm just used to it happening now. I'm more desensitized, and generally, I think if you are one of those people who goes absolutely berserk about it, all I can say to you is, don't forget what happened with Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting a lot of call-outs. To be fair, I think Cyberpunk suffered from an 8-year development window that they announced very, very, very early. Like I still remember, I think it would have been 2011 or 2012 that I saw that the trailer for that game. It wasn't gameplay or anything, but the anticipation was hot. Whereas here, it's, you know, people would be able to get access to Advance Wars, and it could be that people like Apollo might prefer the older version. There's a few articles flying around at the moment talking about how the graphics might be a bit of a turnoff for some people.
I mean, it's definitely kind of different. So, I mean, let's face it, the Switch is an all-round better console. If anyone remembers playing the original GBA, my word, you know, try to play it anything less than like being outside in the sun on a sunny day is just a nightmare. So
Yeah.
until the SP came out and fixed all that. So but I think it's one of those cult following kind of games. It doesn't have a huge fan base like, I don't know, COD does, but the fan base it has is very, very loyal, probably still will be. And it came out of the left field, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of them who are very happy to kind of be able to kind of get that in a new, more powerful format. But at the same time, I think when you're bringing something back, you want to do it justice, because they've got like this cult following who you have to pull away from, again, as you guys said, pulled away from the source material. But at the same time, if they created a buggy mess out of it, there'll be this relatively big community that will be going absolutely bonkers online. And, you know, there'll be social media will probably get bogged down with it. It'll just be like, oh boy. So I think I'd rather delays until February and then it coming out half baked. So,
well, I mean, yeah, I think February. Let's face it. I think we're all going to be broke in February.
Too late. I'm broke now, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, unless
you need a budget.
Yeah.
Look, seriously, look up YNAB and learn the rules.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully when February comes, if you want this, if you don't have a PS5 yet, I might know a reason why. Well, Finance actually shared this on our Discord, and I just couldn't resist. I thought it was hilarious when I saw the video that I forgot how it went, but pretty much it was a video of I forgot how the thing went, but it's a video of a Walmart warehouse and I guess a bunch of PS5s.
Oh, right.
Being hoarded. You shared the video, Finance. How did that video go? Do you remember?
I mean, I didn't even listen to the audio, man.
I did
watch the video, but I mean, they just panned the camera through the warehouse, looking at like all the over 2,000 PS5s that were stacked up in this warehouse that aren't being sold to.
That's ridiculous.
To customers, you know. But you got to think about it. You know, it's just Black Friday coming up here in the States, so I mean, people are gonna buy PS5s like crazy. And then also with Christmas, it's gonna sell like those 2000 is really nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know how many warehouses they have like this, but yeah, it does kind of like leave like a bad taste in your mouth. The only thing I worry about is if Walmart is gonna go the same route that
Best Buy.
Best Buy and
Yeah, Best Buy. GameStop.
yeah, GameStop and Best Buy did. So
Mhm.
both those companies put their PS5s and Xboxes behind a paywall, and Walmart has a similar pay plan to where they could do that also. So I hope that's the route they don't go, because I know Best Buy this last week they just sold their inventory without the paywall. They did back down, but
Yeah.
we don't know if they'll start that up again. But hopefully Walmart.
What was this paywall thing?
It's their memberships. So they have all these different, all these different businesses have their paid memberships. It's like Amazon Prime, but for for GameStop and for Best Buy and all these
And
companies.
you had to get the membership to buy the console.
Yeah, and so
I
Best
see,
Buy's
yeah.
is $200 a year, so which is like
kind of a lot.
atrocious. Yeah. Of course, GameStop's is a lot cheaper. I think it's like only $60 or
Something
around
like that,
$60.
yeah.
And then
Still don't want to pay
Walmart's.
that though.
Yeah, you still don't want to pay that. Like
Yeah,
on top
you
of buying a
don't.
console, like you buy the console, you buy like
Yeah.
one game, a controller, like and then you buy this like membership that you only want it for the console, and then all of a sudden you
Yeah.
racked up, like a $700 bill, $800 bill for
Mhm.
to get this thing that you wanted so bad. But I mean,
Mhm.
Like
to
you may
each
as
their
well
own.
just pay the scalper. But I mean, I know that's why they're doing it to stop
Yeah.
the scalpers. And then Best Buy, to go do a little bit what we were talking about last week, finance. They want they want you to do like other things. Like I know like there's like some Apple stuff thrown in there, like Apple Care stuff and a little bit of other stuff also. But yeah, they want you to do it for other things, not just to buy a PS5 or Xbox Series X or S. So
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
Games as a service is a thing. People pay lots of money for it.
No.
Why not make life as a service? Just
Right.
life stuff. Subscribe to your dentist. Subscribe to, I don't know, groceries makes sense.
groceries.
Subscribe to your commute. I don't know.
Everything be a monthly charge. Yep, that sounds good to me.
This is one
think-
kind of nice things, isn't it?
Yeah. I think an important thing that we might be distracted by here is that there'd be an incentive for Walmart to compress these sales into a certain period so that they can brag about them a little bit. I mean, it may not be the PS5 specifically that are being targeted for this, but they are one of probably many products that they can hoard that they know will definitely sell, potentially at full price, even if though it's on Black Friday or Christmas or something like that, and that they can chalk up to their big numbers and say, hey, we had a massive spike this year. Everyone's buying stuff, but it was actually attributed to those 2000 PS5s that they had,
Yeah.
and probably cheap TVs and games and things like that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think I made a comment about it when it was popped up on the Discord server saying, yeah, this is preparation for Christmas, I bet.
Yeah,
Because having worked, if anyone's worked in retail, they can tell you 3/4 of the annual sales are the run up to Christmas.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I used to work at Toys R Us, so like
I feel like 2000, like it's a lot, but compared to how many have been sold, like there's 10 million PS5s that have been sold already. Like 2000 isn't that many, and it's not like there are like thousands of Walmart warehouses like across the US. Like there's like 100 or something. So I mean, it's a decent amount, but I don't think it's insane just like have that many for Christmas or Black Friday or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, just do those numbers. Like, even if there was 100 and then there was 200 at each, I mean, like at every warehouse, like that. I mean, that's a significant amount. So, I mean, I'm sure like all companies are maybe like all the big warehouses, like Amazon's getting ready for whatever, like they have Prime Day already, but whatever sales that they're going to do during Christmas and things like that. And in regards to it, like if you do have it and you have people coming to the site for that, I mean, that's going to lend them to purchase other stuff on your website also. So, you get them in, and then, hey, it's like, why not buy like your grandmother's gift and your father's gift and all these other items here while you're already here. So, it's it's a tactic, and I'm yeah, they're gonna be sold. Like it's not they're gonna hang on to them forever, and then
they will be sold. They will
Yeah.
be.
Oh yeah.
So just you know,
it feels very anti-consumer though.
yeah,
Knowing
it
that
does.
the PS5s are in a bit of a drought at the moment, that they're sitting on 2,000, that could be empowering players who are happy to purchase them now.
Yeah,
It gives you
and
like that feeling.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, like I said earlier before,
Yeah.
they're just trying to do this to stop the scalpers, which brings us to our next topic. N64 controllers for the Nintendo Switch Online being scalped, and Xbox mini fridges being scalped. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of low key want that Xbox mini fridge. Keep our drinks cold while we do this podcast. And it also look good in the background. But I mean, the mini fridge. We can start with that. Something that started off as a joke, in my opinion, since the Xbox Series X looks like a mini fridge. They actually made a mini fridge out of it.
Yeah.
I was like, unbelievable shocked. Like, wow, they really did this. Okay. And then the next thing you know, it's just like, all right, it's on sale, it's on pre-order, and then it's all sold, and and now they're scalping it for like $300, like $200-$300 more than what it's actually worth. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
this is funny. A mini fridge being scalped.
I mean,
Yeah,
come
that's-
on. It's like Coke giving like one's away via Smeg for free.
But this is a mini fridge.
Yeah, so the Smeg ones Diet Coke are giving away at the moment. Or at least have been recently.
It's just gamers. I mean, it's just gamers, like to be built into that community. It's and I think scalpers have definitely realized, like, if they can scalp anything, like technology is already like the main thing they scalp. It's like any electronics or whatever they can get their hands on that are elusive to other people, are the best things to be scalped. But in terms of the mini fridge, I mean, it's just gamers. They know gamers have this like undying loyalty and this hunger to be one of the few, to be the first, to just have an item that other people don't have. So yeah, that fridge is pretty sweet. It's pretty sick in my opinion. It has like a USB.
It's a nice fridge.
It has a USB
It looks
built into
funny,
it.
yeah.
Like you can charge your phone from your fridge, and like of course have all your sodas too, and then it has the green light on the top. I think it's pretty sick. I dn't know it was $100. Like if I knew $100, like I would have been on there too. But then everything's being sold for $400 now. But yeah, I mean people scalp anything. Like secondhand business is taking over. If it's a thing. People sell clothes, everything. Like
Yeah, it's a big
I'm all for
thing with
pre-loved.
shoes.
I'm all for pre-loved, but scalping is not pre-loved. It's why a lot of gamers can't have nice things right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to learn patience in this day and age. Like, hey, just if you want it right away, pay a scalper. I mean, I advise people out there. I mean, unless it's something like you really need, it's not that serious. Just wait.
Yeah.
Save your money. I mean, especially with a mini fridge.
fridges.
Yeah. Like who desperately needs a Xbox mini fridge? No one.
No.
No one needs
need a
this.
fridge, and
Hey,
then
hey.
the Xbox is there.
who are we to speak for other people on what they need?
I'm
I mean-
speaking for other people right now. No
Trust me,
one
mini-
needs this.
Mini fridges are not anywhere near as good as a proper fridge. Let's face it.
Actually,
they're-
I don't.
that fridge right there is an Xbox fridge right there. I don't know if you guys
Really?
can see
I feel
that.
like you're lying to us.
No, it is. See the black, and there's lights coming out of it and
Oh.
everything.
So
You
you're
just
like
need
a
a green
like a
LED
hobbit
for the
because your fridge looks decently
It's-
big.
It's tiny. It's just the camera.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
I got the
Got a
fisheye
fisheye
going.
lens or
Yeah.
something. Oh yeah, okay.
Well, aside from the mini fridge, N64 controllers are being scalped also. Which that doesn't surprise me though. I mean, it's been a while since these type of controllers has been out in the wild. So of course, nostalgia, and nostalgia it just rules everything these days when it comes to like scalping and all that stuff. But I mean, these controllers are being scalped for like hundreds of dollars more. And Nintendo has already said that there are going to be more coming. So just be patient. If you want to play these games, these N64 games, the way they're meant to be played, just wait. But like I've said before on this podcast, who would want to use that controller to play N64 games? It was like one of the worst controllers ever made, in my opinion. I mean, behind the Virtual Boy, that had to be the worst.
Come on, NES. Look at the NES.
The NES,
So just straight up square.
Yeah. And then the Duke is coming back. I mean, it's just like, why not? Like, you just spoke to yourself to nostalgia. I mean, it's like, why not? And that Z trigger was off the hook. Like the Z trigger was like it was a monster. It was like I don't know. It was just revolutionary for its time.
I had
like
big hands. I didn't know how to hold the thing. Like I didn't know whether to do.
No one did.
That's the thing. It gave you a choice. You had like 3 different ways you could hold it: in the middle and to the sides. Admittedly, one side was almost useless with those little yellow C camera buttons, whatever they did.
I think the thing I remember the most for was the 3 items from Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So they were like the swappable equipment items, and playing the musical instrument.
That's right.
Yeah.
And mini games in Pokemon Stadium.
All the mini games. Yeah. Can't forget those.
Licky Tongue and the sushi game. Classic.
The Ekans rings as well.
Oh yeah. See, this is the thing. This is authentic experiences. I think that's something that would drive the sale of these more than just the nostalgia and remembering how much your knuckles hurt when they rubbed against each other trying to use the controller. It's going to be knowing that the way that the games that are available have been built is for using with this controller specifically. And that's probably going to drive sales more than anything else. Because you know what kids are like these days? Just
these days.
It's all about things being... Well, the world's getting smaller and smaller every day. Kids, if they had the same opportunity to buy things all the time, maybe 10, 20 years ago, maybe it wouldn't be as novel as today. But not only is attention quick, but the ability for kids in Africa, Russia, to buy things that exist in America is possible too. So, that shared experience is becoming a thing. But, when we encounter a global pandemic and certain objects become very hard to come by,
toilet paper.
Where...
Oh yeah, toilet paper for towels, man. That was
no way.
Do we?
That was pretty crazy.
By sheer fluke, we evaded that.
Probably because people figured it out. Like, it was a completely manufactured shortage. Australia was like rife for that. It was the first things off the shelves. There had to be rules about selling toilet paper in supermarkets because, it was a thing, but it wasn't a thing. The warehouses in Australia did a TikTok or an Instagram story or something like that of their warehouse of 20-story high shelves filled with toilet paper. They're like, guys, don't worry. You can wipe your butts for the rest of your life. It's not going to be a problem. Unfortunately, with COVID, the reduced availability of electronics means that this stuff is actually not a manufactured shortage, which means that they do get to be hard to come by. And look, scalpers are going to do what they'll do with the gig economy being a thing too. You can pay some bloke to go to the store to pick it up from a scalper who's selling it to you who bought it from that store. Like, there's opportunities for people to make money in the middle. That's going to be the most exploitative part of this electronics shortage, I think. And that's why it's fridges as well as Nintendo 64 controllers. Also, pricing for the consumer too. That's the thing about the fridge that might have surprised you guys too, that it was $100 for something that is a product endorsed by a big company that they know people are going to buy, and yet they've priced it in a very acceptable way. Same with the controller too. They could very easily have made that $80 to $100, though maybe that they may be making money off the subscription. The online Nintendo subscription might be another conversation entirely.
That's a good point, actually. These scalpers had to have botted the subscriptions as well to get those controllers in the first place.
Is it limited?
No, it's not limited, but you have to have had the membership to get access to them on the store.
And I guess they'd see when someone buys one Nintendo subscription and they buy 600 controllers.
Yeah, so it's probably some bot farming going on here.
Yeah.
And I don't care about the controller, but I just wanted to give it up for Xbox with that meme in that fridge. I'm just still awestruck by that they like took a meme that everyone was doing and they just like brought it to life. I just wish like more companies would like do that. Just take that to heart. I'm sorry I changed the subject, but I was just thinking about that when you mentioned the fridges again.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna make money off it, then who cares
exactly.
if it's a meme?
That's why they made it. It became a meme because they gave fridges to The Rock and to big celebrities like that had it all over their Instagram. And you know, The Rock, he's very engaging and charismatic.
Yep.
Don't pay scalpers.
Well, speaking of Xbox, like I say every episode, don't pay the scalpers. Seems like we weren't saying that a couple years ago when we first started this podcast. Finance, don't pay the scalpers.
Technology.
Paying scalpers validates scalpers.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of Xbox, we have I guess the new memory cards costs have come out, and the 2 terabyte memory card costs even more than the Series S. So the Series S is a good console. I mean, it doesn't do 4K. It does what, 1440 at the most, I think. Yeah, 1440. But the fact that the memory card costs more than the console, should that give people an incentive to just buy the Series X and forget about the S? Any thoughts there? That's just a little mind baffling to me.
Yeah, don't buy a $400 2 terabyte card, I guess. That's really bad. That's terrible.
See, this is the plight of the custom computer builder or someone who needs to regularly upgrade their storage. They'll look at their device and they'll say, okay, I want to have 3 terabytes of storage available to me at any time. I could do this by buying 3 1 terabyte drives, and I could do this by buying regular spinning disk hard drives, or I could do it with solid state drives. And there's going to be a variance of cost there between, for Australia, it's $50 round about that for a regular hard drive of 1 terabyte of data. But for 2 terabytes for a solid state drive, Australian, it currently costs upwards of $250. Now, when you've got hard drives like this specifically built for devices that need to be optimized for speed, and they're selling it as an exclusive product in affiliation with the company that's developed the console it's plugging into, there's going to be a lot of extra work in there, and that's where the price is going to come from. So the balance here has to be, are you playing enough games that you require 2 terabytes of storage, or is it better for you to get the bigger console where you wouldn't have to require as much space, or are you happy to manage and swap out games because your internet's good enough? Or, it's a balanced conversation. I don't think, and this is what happens all the time when I build computers too. Like going out and buying a graphics card, you say to yourself, okay, I could spend $2,000 on a 3080, but I could also build another computer for that. So why would I spend all that on a single graphics card? I think there's a lot of questions that come along with something like this. But the question I have for you guys, not knowing much about it, is what is the comparison between the S and the X in terms of the base storage capacity?
Let's see. The S, I believe, is 512. I'm gonna get like butchered for this. I believe it's 512 for the S, and then I want to say after the OS, I believe it's like 8, like somewhere around like 850 for the X.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess the X, you do get some extra value there anyway. And if it's backwards compatible and the S is only for the budget gamer, you might be better off. especially if you can get value for the console selling it back again. But
And-
Yeah, so the
Preparing-
X. No,
So anyway, we can look this up, but just to speak to what you were saying, Matt, like, yeah, like, I mean, storage is always the main like issue in terms of like every console generation of every computer, like all hardware, like just in general. You know, storage has always kind of been the issue. That's why we had like PlayStation memory cards. That's why we had, you know, built-in storage, like with the Super NES and the Nintendo. That was only like a couple, like not even a megabyte, like, like,
Yeah, like NES
like it
wasn't even a megabyte, but yeah,
it was like
SNES
a
was a little more.
it was a couple
but,
kilobytes or something, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then this is like when we got the 1 terabyte, like what did and that cost like over $100. Like what did people expect? Do they expect like it cost 150 for them to go to 2? I know, like, I know you can always purchase like 2, like one terabytes, but this with the 2, like, and this being a proprietary to Xbox's system, with
Yeah.
proprietary software, it's always going to cost more. With the technology that's built in this, with the speed that you're asking for with the Xbox, you know, this is going to be a thing. That's why like Sony had so many restrictions around like what expandable storage you can use with the PlayStation 5. And in the end, they just said like, well, whatever we do, it's going to cost an arm and a leg. So they just opened up their software to anything, you know, so now you can pretty much use whatever expandable storage you need to, but you're not going to necessarily get those speeds. With Xbox made a closed off system where they require these memory cards in order to do this. Of course, you can always store off to an external hard drive, but you're not going to get those speeds. So it's a trade-off. I mean, memory and space and storage has always just been a thing. So it's something that you have to deal with as a consumer. What's up?
One thing that you reminded me of there is that the way that storage capacity increases and the price increases with that is something that goes against what the consumer thinks in terms of value as well. Like if you've got a 1 terabyte solid state drive versus a 2 terabyte one, the 2 terabyte is going to cost more than double what the 1 terabyte cost. Whereas as a consumer, when we're purchasing things in bulk, we think there should be more value there, so I should be paying less. But in actual fact, it costs more money to put that much storage into the same form factor of that same drive.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that has people ill at ease as well, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully later on down the line. Oh, go ahead, Celine.
I was just say I did a quick fact check. By default, Series S is you were right, it was 512 meg storage, and then it's a terabyte. And Series X comes with a terabyte.
There you go. So getting that extra storage and the trade-off of getting a Series X might be better.
And I just want to clarify. I said after the OS, it's about 8 something. So anyway, but thank you, Celine. Thank you very much.
After everything, I'm glad we're in my territory here. Because you're never going to get 100% of that capacity from any drive you put anywhere. You always have to have a base lever to run the drive, and then a base level to run the operating system, and then whatever processes are going on, and then any transfer of data that requires the cache in order to transport the data in between. And then you're looking at data speeds for transfer rates of uploads and downloads. Like there's so much stuff you can go into with this. And that's where that money would be going for the Xbox.
Is anyone here mad about it though? Like, I mean, for me, it's expected. Like, I don't know.
I'm not
I mean,
pissed about it.
I'm not mad about it because I don't own an Xbox. Not a new one. So like it's just so much for 2 terabytes. I guess if you're looking at like the 512 one is 140. So technically you're getting like a better value compared to like the smaller one.
That was Xbox
Sorry, Nicki
ringing
Minaj.
saying you got to get
Yeah, they're going to come kill me now. I mean, I guess technically you're getting a better value than like the smallest, cheapest one times 4, almost 4. But I don't know, too much.
This was
$400 is
actually
too
like
much.
infamous with the PlayStation Vita, and that when they did their proprietary storage, and then that's why like Sony, like that was one of the reasons why like Sony didn't sell as many. One of the many reasons why
many.
Let's be
didn't sell as
clear here,
many.
though.
Yeah.
Sony has their particular expandable memory issues where instead of going, oh, hey, there's micro SD cards, we could use those. Instead, they build their own.
Yeah.
You might remember,
Yeah.
if you're old enough, that they used to have the memory sticks that you would put in their digital cameras that were a very specific shape that would only
I
fit.
remember those.
Yeah. That Sony's got a different kind of issue. The fact that they have opened up their platform to other hard drives and memory types that they don't endorse themselves is like a huge step.
Yeah, it took them several times though. Like it's been a process, and who knows? Like down the line, we might see with PlayStation 6, it might be proprietary again, and then they'll have to be retaught. But we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean,
UHD,
for me, hopefully, hopefully the drives get cheaper in price later on down the line, because I mean, I'm not pissed about it, but I mean, if I were to get a Series X or a Series S, I would go to S, since I already have a PS5 and I could just like get Game Pass on it or whatever, But I mean, it's like you see the price of that. It's like you may as well just get the X and then just upgrade later if you're going to do that. I mean, that's just my thoughts on it.
You lose money that way, but we can talk about that
later.
later.
My insights just once more to set expectations. I can tell you prices won't dip for Xbox endorsed hard drives that they've worked to develop, because hard drives don't depreciate much either. Generally, the price of hard drives that you buy will wax and wane with the availability of parts and how many there are, how many get shipped from where they're developed, and all that stuff. And over time, as the capacity increases, they may drop in price just a little bit, but it's evergreen storage. It never goes out of style. It's always wanted. So maybe don't expect this to drop in price in the next 5 years. It could very well stay the same.
All right. Well, it's something I'll definitely keep an eye on, but I mean, that's wishful thinking, definitely. So if you do have a PS5, are you a fan of the faceplates, or would you like to change them? Do you like the white? Do you want black? Do you want to paint them, customize them? How do y'all feel about that?
I mean, I'm actually all for the idea of having like the plate swappable myself. It's like anything that can be customized, I think should be customizable. And the fact that the plates come off so easily for the PS5 for like maintenance and whatnot, I think they should be made customizable, especially since white is such a fingerprint magnet, especially if you are someone who has children at the house.
Yeah. I mean.
Oh, and dust.
And dust. Custom faceplates. Yeah. I mean, I was super stoked when I saw that they were removable. And they were, I mean, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard to remove them. And that you can switch it out. I just saw the potential, and I think the client base did also. All the Sony fans, like the first thing they did when they saw the console finally announced was they went to town creating all these like digital art renditions of the custom faceplates and what they can do. So yeah, no, I'm excited. I've never bought a custom console. I've always bought consoles like on day one or like very soon after. So I've never had a custom console, and I would love to have a custom console this generation.
All right, so D-Brand, we've heard of these guys. They make dark plates for the PS5, and apparently Sony came a while back. They were like threatened them with the lawsuit. D-Brand said sue us, so they did. So then they shuttered shop, but it looks like they're not backing down now, because they've come back even stronger than ever before, and it looks like they're doing some workarounds now with these new custom faceplates that they have. I'm not sure if you guys have seen them, but it looks like instead of like sharp on the edges, they're like round. But what I want to know is, how do you feel about Sony going after third-party companies trying to sell faceplates for, something that the consumer paid Sony to get anyway. That doesn't like. I feel once you have the console, if you want to make a faceplate or customize it, whoever the console manufacturer is should have no say in it. What are y'all's opinions on that?
I think
Yeah,
the problem here is more with that there's a third-party company using potentially patented, maybe not designs.
it's patented.
to
Yeah.
change the product. Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah. The
Sony's
problem
losing
is that
the chance to make money.
Yeah, there's a patent on the design of it. Well, like, I don't mind them doing it, but like there is a patent on the design, and it's obviously meant to replicate, copy the design. So I mean, I feel like they definitely could be sued. I wouldn't want them to be, but I could see it happening. Or
Agreed.
them getting sued and losing.
I agree. And I think, and this isn't to say about D-Brand specifically, but if a company was making like third-party plates and they were made from a very poor quality plastic and something goes wrong, it could damage the console itself. So I suppose Sony does, I would hope that one of the reasons is to make sure that it's that, consumers aren't picking up like poor quality plates. But I can't speak for D-Brand one because I haven't actually handled any. So I'm just going with
They're
theory.
really good. Or like they're at least their
Because, like,
computer products. Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't because I remember when I was quite young, there was a thing about the bonnet badges for Mercedes cars, and you could easily tell the quality, whether they were bought from Mercedes from a reputed third-party seller or if they were fake by flicking it. If it sprung back, it was from Mercedes. If it didn't spring back, it was a third party, and if it broke, it was fake. Like I can't help but wonder if if a scenario like that could be a factor. But because I think D-Brand is setting a precedent, and Sony as a company are probably going to be very, very wary about it.
So we're all dancing around, I think, what is the big line item here. Sorry if I'm going to jump on top of it, just because we need to address it. I think that the whole idea of right to repair and the idea that there's a big consumer-based movement now that's sometimes backed by people making the legislation about the ability for people to customize and change and repair their machines without having to go to the manufacturer to get it done. I think this is kind of dancing around that a little bit, and it might be a bad time for PlayStation to talk about this, especially with the consumer rights stuff having so much weight behind it, that maybe being able to be preventing a third party from selling products that are purely aesthetic and actually built to be customizable by the manufacturer is being taken off the market because that manufacturer wants to zero in on the market themselves. I think it's come at a really bad time, and it's probably why there's a lot of articles about it now.
Yeah.
You took the words out of my mouth, and then just on top of that, Sony's original lawsuit was because D-Brand's original plates were identical to what Sony provided for the PlayStation 5. In PlayStation's patent, it spoke to what infringement was, and something that it was spoken to was like just the fact an item can't mimic or look or try to market itself as an exact duplicate of the original item. What are you gonna say, Matt?
That was the thing with this, right? It had like the little imprinted design that wasn't exactly the same as the crosses, circles, triangles, and squares, but it was similar. Yeah, that was part of the patent too.
Exactly. So D-Brand did exactly what they were told to do. They removed the item from market, and then they brought back a different item that, of course, does the same thing. It covers the PlayStation, but it's no longer the same item. So with that, D-Brand is now, they're like, sue us. Like we've done everything we were supposed to do in terms of creating another item for your PlayStation that can cover it. So it's just I see where Sony's coming from. I mean, this is not over by any means. Dbrand is still
No,
taking
not at
pre-orders,
all.
and then they've gotten cheeky, like, and just like saying like, hey, like, not only just sue us, but on their website it says checkmate lawyers. Like when under the, like, that's what it says, like, for the purchase, like, and then they go on to say like this is not illegal, blah 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 blah. And yeah, it is right to repair, and it is, it's a thing that's that's just like, man, this is very reminiscent of a iPhone case, or all these other
Yeah.
faceplates that are being sold by all these other companies, and for Sony to kind of be able to like kind of like remove all third parties and not allow them to do that, but for every other manufacturer, for every other company, people can create these these plastic cases or whatever it may be in order to cover your phone and do all these other things. Like,
Well,
it
I feel like
just doesn't line. What's up?
I feel like there's a difference there. Well, like, I get where you're coming from. I think it's ridiculous that they're being sued, but there's a difference there because, like, iPhone doesn't make iPhone cases, whereas the PlayStation, Sony makes the PlayStation, like, cover things. So, like, there's a little bit of a difference, I feel like.
I wasn't speaking
Right?
directly about iPhone, was I? Yeah, I mean,
okay.
just phones in
Just
general.
in general.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, like, okay, like,
Yeah,
there's
that's
there's
in
the new
general phones.
Samsung Galaxy Fold S3. Like, you can buy
Mhm.
different plates directly for that phone for the back, from third-party manufacturers, just using that one
Like replacing the
hypothetically.
back?
Yeah, for replacing the back, 'cause
I see. I see.
you can change the colors. Now whether that breaks warranty, or or things like that, that's a different story, and that's something that Sony would have to decide. Like, that's something like they would have to hold faithful to or not, because is it breaking warranty if you make them to be replaced? Or do you have to replace them exactly? I don't think Sony would win that, because they're made to be taken off. It's not like
Mhm.
you are taking something like the PlayStation 2 or something where everything is meant to be held together, and you're not supposed to replace the plates. They made them to be replaced. And if they're trying to hone in on that and trying to keep everyone else while they take their time, nah, Sony. No, that's not right.
No.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
That's not how the free market works. Yeah. I mean,
It
like I said, I'm all for
feels
people
like-
being careful about cheap knockoffs, but again, where there are companies who are willing to make a good quality product to fill that gap, and I think companies, manufacturers should work with companies who will make it to create that product for the demand, but maintain the quality, because I'm very consumer oriented overall. So
It all smacks of emotion,
mean-
though, doesn't it? It's like
Yeah.
it feels like Sony said, "Guys, just come on," and Dbrand's like, "No, we're doing it." So Sony kind of has to go,
Yeah.
"You're gonna make this a thing, okay?" And who knows? They could have like a $2 billion marketing campaign across the planet that they've set up in the next 6 months about getting their custom faceplates out there, and Dbrand is just shitting on it because they've decided to do it a little bit sooner. Like, it could be sunk money somewhere along the line that they're impacting, but we just don't know yet. It's I think it's more emotionally charged than it is.
Even if Sony has, though, that doesn't like take away from Sony's like ability to like still put out God of War plates and Horizon Zero Dawn plates and everything. Dbrand can't do that, so I mean, it still leaves it open for Sony, to a wide open market for Sony to just really take advantage of their IPs and their plates, like, bring it, Sony. Like, what's taking you so long? Like,
I think
like Sony doesn't even make their own custom ones, so
what we want to see from Dbrand in the next 6 months is when PlayStation releases their God of War faceplates, Dbrand releases their Deity of Battle faceplate, and just has some random not beard but full head kind of beefy bloke playing with his grandpa or something. That's what you want to see. That's what I think this is backing up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my thing is, it's just I just want to see some more, faceplates out from Sony. I mean, I don't know what they're waiting on, really. But I mean, they're the ones that created the PS5, this big router, as some people call it, and it's just like, though, if you want to change the drive, you got to take the thing off. Like Fina said earlier, it's not easy, but it's not hard either. I mean, I guess it can be a pain. You can break it if you're not careful. So if you're going to do that, definitely be careful. But I mean, I just want to see just some more out there, not these like cheap Chinese knockoffs from AliExpress. But I mean, D brand, I mean, they seem like a legit company. Just so I mean, I'd rather go with them as opposed to like some cheap Chinese knockoff. And Sony can't do anything about that because it's coming from like China. So it's like they really can't go after the companies, really. Yeah.
Wish.com.
Oh Lord.
Gonna see him there.
Oh, dude, if you bought them from Wish, they'd be like this tall and they wouldn't even fit on the PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, so it seems like the Nintendo Switch Pro rumors just won't die. They just keep coming and coming. Even after the release of the OLED earlier this month, it's just another rumor. So I'm going to read this from comicbook.com. So a new report is making rounds claiming that the successor to the Nintendo Switch, tentatively called the Nintendo Switch 2, is set to release sometime between holiday of 2022 and early 2023. The report comes on the back of months and months of reports about a Nintendo Switch Pro that never fully came to fruition. This month, the Nintendo Switch OLED released, but that's hardly a Nintendo Switch Pro. That said, while the Nintendo Switch OLED plays every Nintendo Switch game, it sounds like the Nintendo Switch 2 may not. So that is about the Nintendo Switch OLED, and if a new Nintendo Switch came out in like a year and a half later, I would be pissed. But I would be even more pissed if the rumor is true behind the fact that it's not going to have any backwards compatibility. So, Nintendo, I mean, with the Wii to Wii U, I mean, it had backwards compatibility. With the Switch, I understand they wanted to go in a totally different direction. I think they're making a big mistake if the Switch 2 or Switch Pro, whatever you want to get a new console, is not backwards compatible. What do you guys think about that?
Could it just be that the backwards compatibility back compat, let's just call it that. Back compat is a thing for them because they probably had to build so much tech into the current Nintendo Switch to make it upscale from 720 or whatever weird graphics resolution that it runs at. Because if it's not going to be backwards compatible, it could mean that something that is going to be letterboxed like this big. Sorry, I can't do it. Sorry, switch things going on there. But yeah, if it's going to be letterboxed to like this big and that's what it looks like in comparison to the 4K, it's going to blow out into some pixelated mess. So lack of backwards
compatibility. I'll help you out. Yeah,
compatibility
is simply going to be that they're going to offer versions of the games for the new version of that console, and maybe once Sony and Xbox figure out the upgrade cycle for those games, if you have them already, maybe you just pay a smaller cost to get them on the new console. I don't know. I don't think it would be out of the realms of possibility. Everything seems to be leaning that way, that there is a 2 that would be coming.
So with Justin, I know you read that snippet from the article, but there was an important part that said like, and this is all rumor and speculation, so no one really knows. But at the end of the article, it did say that Nintendo was working on to make it backwards compatible. So we don't know if it's gonna be, if it's not gonna be. We don't know if this exists. I mean, I can very much see Nintendo like creating a whole new like hardware. And yeah, then Nintendo Switch is its own entity. The last 3 iterations of it, or has it been 3 or are we on 4? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The last 3 iterations of it, and that's its own realm. And then whatever they create next, and then the next thing they create is going to be its own isolated thing also. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we just, as gamers, we've kind of come into a realm or a time where we're just like, everything needs to be backwards compatible. Everything needs to work on every device, because I mean, Xbox is doing it well, and Sony's attempting something, with $10 upgrade fees or $20 upgrade fees, or some things aren't and some things are, but you're just kind of treating it as it is. And I mean, that's all you really can do. I don't think Nintendo fans are going to stop buying the consoles or games by any means, even if they're not backwards compatible for the next generation.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the timeline, so I just double checked. The original Switch came out in 2017. 2022, 2023 is about right for like a new console coming out based on Nintendo's typical timelines. I know that the thing to remember is that while Sony and Microsoft seem to be edging towards a 10-year lifespan for their consoles, Nintendo's been much more in the 5 years. I double checked with the Wii U as well. That was in 2012. So it's coming to the right time for their kind of big major overhaul as such. And, I only got my own Switch last year for Black Friday. So it's a bit of a frustrating thing for me but it is coming back to the right time. With the typical pattern has been like there's been 2 console clusters for backwards compat of late. So the Wii U could play Wii games. It might be the case. I think that's why the Switch 2 might be being worked on to be backwards compatible with Switch. We don't know why it's not right now. There could be a very good reason for that, as has been said. So I think, but this is all rumors and speculations. The source was, because I read the article previously, it said it has been reliable sometimes, but it's also been very unreliable sometimes. So I would say take it with a grain of salt for now and see what happens, and when we get more information.
Yeah, it's kind of rough that the YouTube or the source is just some YouTuber.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can tell when they're padding an article as well. Then when they say he has been reputable for some information, but also he has also not said some things that have turned out to be wrong.
Yeah, so that's called not
clearly
reputable, actually.
Yeah, that's the author protecting their keister. They're just I'm not going to take any blame for anything that goes wrong in regards to this. Don't get mad at me. But the Switch, I don't know, the Switch 2, whatever it may be. I mean, Nintendo's always put its own, put themselves in their own little box with the limitations of their hardware. So, I mean, some of the things that you spoke to, Celine, are due to sales. The reason why they only do two backwards compatible iterations and things like that, and some are just I don't know. I think it's mostly due to sales, honestly. Because
and I think, to be fair, this time around they kind of merged the portable and their home things together. So who knows how they're going to go from there? So it's interesting.
That's what I think is interesting from a new console. Have they evaluated the time that everyone spent in lockdown during the pandemic, where they didn't have the opportunity to use their Switch on the top of rooftops in parties and at the park with all the old granddads that you don't usually hang around with? Have they looked at that and realized that maybe a mobile console isn't the best? And some of the comparative stuff here is saying it will do 4K and NVIDIA DLSS on par with the current consoles from Sony and Microsoft. So does that mean that they're trying to, shovel that in like a Steam Deck into a product that's portable, or are they building a just for home console again? It will be interesting to see how they evaluate the market on that front.
We will see in due time. Well, Too Tall, he ran away. He just didn't let us us talking about the Switch 2 and how it could be a rumor. But we have another topic, guys. What games are you looking forward to for the holidays? Logan, I'm looking at you especially, man. I know you.
I get to go first. Oh yeah, yes. Man. Okay. We have Age of Empires 4 coming out on the 28th.
Nice.
So excited for that. I really against pre-ordering. I may or may not have pre-ordered this one, but that one's gonna be great.
Hasn't Age of Empires been out for a while though?
No, there's a stress test run that was done like I don't know a month ago maybe. Yeah, but no, it's just coming out.
Okay. Let's see. I have a little clip from that one, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring that up
Yeah.
real quick. Let's see.
Yeah, no, it looks very fun. Well, for someone like me, it looks very fun.
And what were the other games you were thinking about?
Age of Empires 4. I'm I'm waiting for Battlefield to come out. What was it? Sometime in November. If it's good, I may grab it. I've not pre-ordered that one just because modern Battlefield for me hasn't doesn't seem like something that I would enjoy. I really enjoyed like what was it, Battlefield 1, I think, but that was like a World War II game or something. Or no, that was World War One. So I don't know. I may be ordering that one as well, but definitely Age of Empires 4. Grab that one if you can.
Nice.
Is that one going to be on Game Pass?
Yeah, it is going to be on Game Pass.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And Too Tall, welcome back, man.
Yeah. Where are we?
We're doing what games are you looking forward to for the holidays?
Oh, yes, definitely. So for me, if I'm going to get someone, with a great gift idea, definitely if you have a Switch. Now, I may be going a little nostalgia here. Mario Party Superstars. That looks like a good one to get together with your friends for the holidays. Yeah, Mario Party Superstar. Yeah, definitely. Those are some fun mini games. I don't care what anyone says. Definitely Mario Party and alcohol always makes for a good time, in my opinion. And then another game that I'm to for the holidays would be Forza Horizon 5. And yeah, I know Mr. Madness, if you're listening, he's really my pick there. But yeah, if you have a Xbox, definitely go Forza Horizon 5. It looks fun. Looks like a sweet game for the most part. I mean, I like racing games, and 4 was really good. I played the shit out of that one. So the next one, it's in Mexico. So I mean, that's looking like a good game that
All
y'all
right,
should
brother,
definitely
don't
check
take all
out.
the good games.
My bad.
No, a couple of us still haven't gone yet. So Salim,
Okay.
Matt, and myself still haven't gone yet. So
All
whoever
right.
else would like to take it away. Okay, I'll
Anyone?
take it away.
Matt?
Yeah, no. Let's see. I mean, as far as games that are coming out, not quite sure, but I know I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy coming out this week. But I know we'll possibly talk about that, or I will talk about that a little bit later. But other than that,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to my back catalog. So just playing all the games that I really haven't had time to play.
I think that's me too. Like I was trying to
Same.
think of it through this list, and I was like, there's nothing new that's coming out except Dying Light 2, maybe, probably Horizon if it comes out for what I have available to me. But Deathloop, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Outer Wilds, those are the games. I think it's going to be catch-up holidays as opposed to the stuff that's coming out at the time, at least for me.
Yeah, with the current situation I'm in, what with the moving, by the holidays, hopefully I won't be in my flat. I'll be Airbnb hopping, so I'm probably going to be really, really ruthless and kind of sticking to a very narrow band, and maybe going through my back catalog on Steam. So yeah, I'm not really so much looking forwards on games at the moment as much as thinking about how to be as compact as possible for my life situation. Things will probably change once we finally find somewhere to settle down into.
I think that's the way of things, though. Like, we're in a window now where we keep talking about games being delayed. I think next year is just going to be. It could be a save your money Christmas, so that you don't go broke next year trying to keep up with all the games.
I think that's a smart move, by the way.
Hey, how do you guys feel about God of War going to PC? I know I didn't put it on the outline, but I figured I'd just throw it out there. Like, how do you guys feel about that?
I've never done
I think it's cool. Good. If more games come in more platforms, always seems like a good idea to me.
It's a very calculated move, though. On Sony's
Yeah.
part, it's all about the money, because I was surprised to see it come to Steam, to Epic. Like, it's on all of the big platforms, at least as far as I can tell. So they're really looking to see what that market's like. And who knows?
Yeah.
Bloodborne 4K. That would be a really great thing to see.
Yeah, that you saw that rumor too.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I just got
Oh,
excited.
so right after the God of War to PC announcement happened, people like, of course, like, great move by Sony. Well, anyway, I'll speak about the rumor first. Anyway, Bloodborne was a photo of a Bloodborne PC drop. A rumor of and a photo came out shortly after the God of War, so it was supposedly leaked, but no one knows if it's real yet. So Bloodborne could be coming to PC also shortly after God of War. But what I want to say in terms of God of War, yeah, I mean, it's a great move by Sony. I mean, introducing that, just to a whole new audience, and doing it before God of War 2 comes out, to which, it might drive PlayStation 5 sales, who knows? But I mean, Sony's not making too much off a 3-year-old game anymore. So just to be able to sell it on PC, I mean, if they do it like they did with Days Gone, they'll probably sell it full price or close to full price. And just to have that that extensive extra income. I know there's plenty of PC players that would just, they would be so happy to play God of War. Days Gone did really well, and Horizon Zero Dawn did really well. So as you can see, PlayStation is like seeing, like, they're recognizing the fact that, like, hey, like, we're making a ton of money off of PC games. Like, we should, or bringing our games to PC, we should start doing that more often with our bigger titles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Currently, it's $50.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Once
So
again, Australia gets shafted on that one. It's $79.95 for us.
No way.
Yeah.
$80,
Look, the balance.
dude.
I'm sure it comes to somewhere in the realm of it making sense. But I guarantee you, there's like 10 to 20% of that price that's a digital transport fee or whatever stupid thing they told
I
me.
just
Anyway,
assume
sorry.
that all Australians make like 25% more than me. Just as that's
yeah, because everything over there is so much more expensive.
Well,
We're
when
the
you
land
actually
of wealth, prosperity.
yeah, when it goes over to US dollars, it's like 67. So that's pretty bad.
yeah.
It's like we're so far and remote. We need third-party Sherpas, and we got to pay them a finder's fee just to pick up these digital goods. Like,
it's tough
not
getting
worth
those
going.
digital goods through all that broadband to you guys.
I know, right? Hypes. So many boulders and rocks and stuff that data has to traverse just to
Yeah.
get here. It costs extra money.
It's like Death Stranding.
No way.
That, tell you what, I would pay for that. I would pay for a guy with boats for shoes trying to like skate across the oceans.
Oh,
Like
man.
what is it, John Porter Bridges or whatever his name is? Yeah, I'd pay for that for sure.
There we
Sam,
go.
by the way.
Sam Porter Bridges.
All right, so let me go over the release rundown, and then we'll get into what we're playing. Well, actually, what we're looking forward to, the release rundown, and then we'll get into what we're playing. So, October 26th. Looks like a heavier list than last week. Yeah, so we'll start with the 26th. Iron Harvest, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. LOL Surprise Movie Night for the Switch. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the big one this week. And that's coming to all platforms, even the Switch, but it's going to be the cloud version on the Switch, guys. So we'll see how that works out. NASCAR 21 Ignition for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I'm sure if you want to play on your on the PS5 or Xbox Series X or S, you can use backwards compatibility. Workshop Simulator for the PC. October 27th, we have Super Robot Wars 30. That's coming to the PC also. October 28th, we have Age of Empires 4 for the PC. Backbone for the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and 1. Dusk for the Nintendo Switch. Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, well, pretty much all platforms here. Yeah, just even the Switch and the PC. Riders Republic for looks like all platforms except for the Switch, but this one's also coming to Stadia. And then we got Roki for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Voice of Cards, the IL Dragon Roars for the PS4, Switch, and PC. And October 29th, game I talked about earlier, Mario Party Superstars, which is coming for Switch. Any of those games you guys looking forward to?
Age of Empires. First, let me say, if you are on a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, don't buy Iron Harvest. That game is terrible on PC. I can't, like, the game isn't even good. I can't imagine it with console controls on a console. So just don't buy that one.
I think that's the first time we got that. Like I don't buy.
Don't buy. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's trying to be like Halo Wars, but no, don't get it.
Don't buy that's Finest. I know what you're looking forward to this week. You want to jump into it?
Yeah. Just Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, I don't think there's much for me to really jump into as of like, we all know we're Peter Quill. We all know it's a single player game, but you get to control, everyone in your party. I think it's gonna be a great game. I just think it's gonna be awesome. Right now I think it's undersold for what it is. I think a lot of people are gonna sit on it until like they hear from their friends or hear from wherever that it is a good game. But yeah, no, I want to pick that one up day one. So that's the plan going into that. And yeah, very Mass Effecty, and I'm happy I'm going to be able to make my own decisions with Rocket Raccoon and Groot and the rest of the crew, and I hope to take down some aliens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looks like a good game. This is one of the games I'm looking forward to this week. I'm not picking it up day one, but I mean, I definitely do see myself getting my hands on it before the end of the year.
Yeah, there's nothing really there for me, to be honest. We did hear about Voice of Cards in that Switch reveal. I think the what do you call it? I don't even know.
Nintendo Direct.
That's the one.
Yeah, Nintendo Direct. Yeah,
obviously. But there's a lot of card-based games coming out at the moment, or that has been released. It seems to be up there in popularity, so I might give that a look, depending on how it goes. But to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, I think it's going to be a slow lead up into Christmas with game releases. I might glance at Age of Empires 4, if only for a moment, and the fact that I've got Game Pass, but RTSs really don't tickle me. So thank you for the warn away from Iron Harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everyone says, I love all music except country. Like it's that kind of thing.
Oh,
yeah, I might give
that country is bad though.
I might give Riders Republic another try too. I did play the demo and I wasn't like super impressed by it, but I mean, Ubisoft is putting a lot of work into this, very much like they did with The Crew. I believe Ubisoft made also.
Yeah, The Crew. Yeah, they did The Crew.
Yeah,
Steep as well.
Yeah, Steep as well. And Steep I didn't really enjoy either, but they have like five Ubisoft studios all working on this game in order to make just another platform. It's going to be very much a living world type of game. Like, and then I like that they have like real world locations in this. Like they have Mammoth Mountain. They just dial it up to 10 and they put like ramps on top of buildings and things like that. And then they have like just like all your traditional like big mountains or ski resorts and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna give that one another try. And they have all the different modes. I used to love these type of games just as a child, like Cool Borders and 1080. I never played like a downhill mountain biking game. And then like Steep, I guess, is the first one I really tried with a wingsuit besides
Just Cause.
Just Cause. Thank you very much. Just know what I'm thinking. But yeah, so I might give that one another shot. I looked at all these other games, and yeah, none of them really spoke to me. But they seem like smaller smaller type of games. So I mean, might be something that some people might be able to dig into in between some of these bigger games.
So, Lane, anything on the list that you're looking forward to this week, or potentially?
I would say similar to what Matt said. I was just emphasizing Voice of Cards does give some intrigue for me as an RPG fan, and we've been Paul and I have been playing various board card game / card based games lately with some friends, so that has that kind of interest for me. But I probably put that as a wait for the reviews to see how it's gone before I pursue it myself.
There was one game a card-based game that came out kind of stealthily. I think it was either last week or the week before. You guys might have mentioned it on the rundown, perhaps. Inscription, where it says crypt as in with a Y instead. That card game is by the bloke who made Pony Island, and it looks sufficiently weird and mental that if you jumped into it, it would be really fun to play. If you're looking for a card-based game to tide you over, Inscription looks like it would be a really good one to try.
Good to know.
For sure.
And play Pony Island too. It's just so silly.
All right. Also, what are we playing this week? Logan, I know you've been playing something. What you been playing this week, man?
I've been playing. Well, there's this. I think I mentioned it last time I was on. It's called like Legion Tower Defense 2. It's like this Warcraft 3 mod that was out ages ago, and they finally like fully released it on Steam. So I bought it. It was like $15. It's really good. It's like if you ever played like Bloons Tower Defense Battles, it's basically like that, but also mixed with like some Dota auto chess or something like that. But no, really good. I really enjoy that game. That's mainly all I've been playing. I haven't had a ton of time.
Can relate.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I think we all can relate the time in games, definitely. Anyone else care to share what they've been playing this week?
For me, it's mostly a bit of a niche game. It's called Murder by Numbers. It's by Mediatonic. The music is actually composed by the guy who did the original Ace Attorney trilogy, which is quite cool. It's set in 90s Hollywood, and you're investigating murders, but to get the clues, you're solving what are called monogram puzzles, where you fill in a grid based on number clues to complete a picture.
Okay.
And so that's something that's what Apollo and I are doing together at the moment, and that's quite a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, I myself am. I feel like I'm in one of those slumps that you get sometimes, where you want to play like a big game, something to get your teeth sunk into, and I just can't find what it is. So I'm playing I'm running around Game Pass at the moment. Into the Pit that came out this week, incredibly good. It's like a dual spell casting with a left and right hand, and if you played Devil Daggers, it's like a roguelike version of that. So very cool. Ring of Pain, an Australian developed game as well. That's card based too, where it's kind of like a roguelike as well, but it's more without the progression on the outside. Card based. That's the best way to describe it. It's a very simple game, very addictive though. I'm really enjoying it. And then I haven't mentioned it on the podcast before, but I'm a big fan of Satisfactory, which is like Factorio in 3D. Update 5 is coming out on October 26th, which I think for me will be on the 27th, just because American is the center of the world apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be diving back into that with a few mates this week, just to
sounds good.
Efficient factories. Yeah, I think that's a PC only early access, so I'm not sure you console lads would be able to jump into it, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. Tutal, do you want me to go? Or
yeah, I'll go, and then I guess you can close it out. But I've been playing Metroid Dread still. Good news. I'm at the final boss, and it's kicking my ass. I know your frustration, Matt. I think the reason why you're in a slump, Matt, is because you don't have a Switch. Because I really think you would love that game if you got your hands. I mean, I'm sure you've seen gameplay of it, but if you were playing it yourself, I'm sure you would love that game.
Not gonna lie, I have been several times this week pricing out Switches and going, oh, should I? Oh, I don't know.
Okay. So we're getting warmer. We're getting warmer. So yeah,
little
I
bit.
mean, yeah. You would really love that game. It's a great game. I mean, if you guys do have a Switch, Logan, you have a Switch. I mean, I would definitely
Yeah.
recommend you definitely check it out if you get some time. It is
Okay,
hard,
okay.
but it's doable. I mean, if I can get to the final boss, I mean, it can't be as hard as Dark Souls, in my opinion. So,
Oh
I
Lord.
mean, hopefully, yeah. I mean, so people who are complaining it's hard, they have no idea what hard is. That's just the way I look at it, But I mean, but yeah, I've been
Neat.
playing that, and then I've also been I jumped into Hot Wheels a little bit this week, just doing some time trials. So yeah, getting those good cars is just a grind. But I mean, I gotta get my race on, and then played a little bit of Second Son late last night, infamous Second Son, and I bit the bullet. I told Finance this earlier, but I'll show it to you guys right now since
For those listening to the audio podcast, this is when Justin reaches for a product and flashes it to the camera.
Oh.
I got the Analog Super NT. It's a great way to
cool.
play. It's a great way to play Super Nintendo games. I bit the bullet. I didn't think I was going to get it, but it's been out about 3 years now. So figured waited long enough. So it's a great way to play Super Nintendo games, in my opinion. It's not emulations, FPGA. The games you can jailbreak it though. So the games I'm using a SD card since I kind of don't have any cart games for it right now. I might start collecting some depending upon prices, but I fooled around with that last night also. I may actually do a video on it, maybe show it to you guys on how the thing works and all that stuff. But it's a great way to play retro Super Nintendo games, and yeah, just I mean, I'm excited for my purchase. I think it was a good purchase, so it's definitely good. So how about you? F? Anything you're playing?
Yeah. Let's see. So just Kina. Right now, Last Boss. Woo! So I'm happy to finish out that game. Last Boss, which is this giant tree monster. Who would have thought?
Makes sense.
Everything you fight, yeah. So that actually it's actually pretty tough. The game is a lot harder than I would have thought. It's not what'd you say, Justin? It's not Bloodborne, or what'd you say?
No,
Dark
Dark
Souls.
Souls. Dark
Oh,
Souls.
Dark Souls. It's not Dark Souls, but yeah, it's definitely some difficulty there. And then other than that, I've so on Hades, I've done 40 runs so
40
far.
runs.
About 40 runs. I've done like 42, 41 runs. I've cleared 43 like stages, rooms. I've cleared 43 rooms. And I'm in Elysium. So I'm doing okay. I love that game. I'm gonna play it probably another 100 more runs. But other than that, yeah, I'm just gonna pick up Guardians this week, and we'll see how that goes, and probably drop everything for a little bit.
All right.
So you haven't actually beat Hades yet?
No, still haven't beat Hades yet.
So is Elysium the farthest you've gotten?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds like me and Logan are like, come on, dude, we got to do this round table. We're going to talk about the game.
You need to beat it so we can, yeah. Need to talk about it.
I'll still
kidding.
talk about
Dude,
it. No, it's fine. I don't care.
I haven't
You
beaten
can
it
spoil
either,
it.
but the last guy is too hard for me.
There we go.
Dude.
Confessions of a gamer.
Hey, you can't call someone out and then say, I haven't done it either.
I can actually, because I just did. So
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm true ending, so.
All right, guys.
true ending. Oh, look at you.
True ending.
How many runs did it take you before we end this?
Ooh, that might be something I have to share on the Discord, but I think I've talked about my playtime on Hades maybe on a previous episode. I
Okay.
bought it on Epic when it was in early access, and
Yeah.
I've got a feeling, just checking now, I think it's like 7 days and 11 hours or something like that in total
Lord.
playtime.
Oh,
Okay.
damn.
Holy
Okay,
cow.
so I'm not even close to that yet. So okay.
Yeah,
I
me
got plenty
neither.
of time.
Yeah, it
I don't
sounds
feel as
like-
bad anymore.
No, 40 runs is
Like, yeah,
like nothing.
Yeah, some
Trending
of those
on
are like
16 runs.
super quick runs, and some of those are like like an hour, 2 hour runs. So
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 days, 11 hours, 8 minutes, and 22 seconds. That's,
Well, yeah,
Oh,
that's
Jesus,
a lot.
dude.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
yeah, mate.
All right, folks. So great episode today, guys. For Black Cat, Celine, Matt, Logan, Finance, this is Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool, saying thank you for listening or watching episode 60 of the Game and Watch podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode. Visit our Patreon and support our review gaming. Take care, y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
later.
Adios.